15-point game after 2 free throws from Chase Harris. Law brings it into the front court. He's been the leading scorer, and he wants to put an exclamation point on this game for Freed-Hardeman.
Welcome into this week's episode of Inside the Pride. This week we have highlights from the men's and women's basketball national tournaments. We'll be back with a full episode next week. The Lions got off to a hot start in the round of 16 as Jason Nixon made this three. Then, off of a steal, Peyton Law gets a dunk and the Lions are up 5-0. A three by Riley McLaren from way behind the line. And another one from Nixon put the Lions up 11-3. Sam Powell would put the Lions up 23-5 before the first media timeout. The Lions went on to make 12 threes in the first half as Blake Dean gets in on the action here. And then Peyton Law gives the Lions a 29-point lead, their biggest of the day. Life would not go away easy in the second half as Serge Popovich hits a deep three. He led Life with 16 points. Then Chase Harris cuts the Lions' lead to 7 with this layup. That's as close as Life would get though, as Peyton Law, who finished with 23, and Geraldo Lane, who finished with 13, would help steady the Lions in the second half. Law put an exclamation mark on the game as he breaks the press and finishes with the dunk. The Lions went on to win 85-71. Mekhi Vassell had 10 points, McLaren had 9, Phil Horton and Jordan Stevens both had 8. In the round of 8 versus Southern Oregon, Mekhi Vassell gets the Lions started with a dunk. Then he steps into a 3 at the top of the key. He had the first 5 points for the Lions. Close game throughout the first half. Jordan Stevens makes back-to-back layups to tie the game at 10. Southern Oregon was led in the first half by Josh Juhala, who had 6 points, including this 3. Southern Oregon would lead most of the first half until Sam Powell hit this 3 to put the Lions on top for good. Peyton Law gets the Lions started in the second half with this dunk. Then Jordan Stevens makes a nice behind-the-back pass to Brian Carter, who gets fouled, no call. Luckily, he made the basket anyway. Southern Oregon had no answer for Peyton Law in the second half as the Lions kept feeding him inside, and he delivered again and again. Law finished with 25 points and 11 rebounds to lead all scorers. Mekhi Vassell also finished with 9 points, and Jordan Stevens finished with 8. The Lions won 69-55 to return to the Fab Four for a second straight year. In the Fab Four versus Oklahoma Wesleyan, the Lions got off to a hot start again as Peyton Law hits a 3. Then later in the first half, Jordan Stevens makes a tough layup, gets a steal, and finishes with a dunk to give the Lions the lead. They would stretch it out to 7 points as Riley McLaren makes a 3. Peyton Law scores in transition. And then Law beats his man off the dribble and scores again. Derek Talton led Oklahoma Wesleyan in the first half with 11 points as he gets the steal and the finish here. In the second half was a story of 3 things for the Lions. Turnovers that led to baskets for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Dylan Phillip making 3s. More turnovers that led to baskets for Oklahoma Wesleyan. More Phillip 3s. And offensive rebounds giving Oklahoma Wesleyan extra chances to score. It proved too much for the Lions as they fell 84-78. Law and Stevens both had 22 points to lead the Lions. Congratulations on another great season. Switching to women's basketball now, the Lady Lions played Indiana Tech in the round of 16. Kaylee Odom got the Lady Lions going early with this basket. Rachel Satterley followed with a 3. And the Lady Lions were up 7-0. Lily Key made a nice move in the post, and the Lady Lions led 14-6 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter now, and Jenna Satterley puts the Lady Lions up 11 with this and one basket. Then Lily Key steps out and hits a 3 to keep the offense rolling. Carissa Curtis would give the Lady Lions their biggest lead of the half with this 3, putting the Lady Lions up 13. Indiana Tech would not go away quietly as Genevieve Decker started the second half with a driving layup. Then she followed it with a running floater in the lane. A 3 by Taylor Covington cut the Lady Lions' lead to just 4, but that was as close as the Warriors would get as Rachel Satterley would drive to the basket and score. Then Carissa Curtis would close out the quarter with 2 threes, giving the Lady Lions an 11-point advantage. In the fourth quarter, it was too much Satterley and Curtis for the Warriors. Right here, Kaylee Odom just takes the ball away from Decker, leaves the fast break herself, and finds Curtis on the wing for another 3. Another Satterley layup gives the Lady Lions a 16-point lead, and they would go on to win 54-43. The Lady Lions made 9 threes while Indiana Tech made just 2. Rachel Satterley and Carissa Curtis both finished with 12 points to lead the Lady Lions. The Lady Lions moved on to the round of 8 against Indiana Wesleyan. Early in the game, Brooklyn Crouch ties it at 6 with this 3. Then later, Rachel Satterley ties it at 8 with a backdoor layup. A couple of Satterley free throws tied it at 10, and then this Carissa Curtis 3 tied it at 13. Second quarter now, Lady Lions down by 10. Jenna Satterley makes back-to-back layups to cut the Indiana Wesleyan lead to 6. A 3 by Elena Stiles, and a putback by Ellie Chumley got the Lady Lions to within 4 at halftime. Start of the second half, Jenna Satterley makes a 3 to cut it to 1. Then the Lady Lions would take the lead on this nice reverse layup from Brooklyn Crouch. Unfortunately for the Lady Lions, it would be all Indiana Wesleyan after that. They would be led by Maddie Lawrence, who had 5 threes and finished with 21 points, and Lily Frazier, who finished with 22 points. Indiana Wesleyan would go on to outscore FHU 48-16 over the final 18 minutes of the game. The Lady Lions fell 77-46. Brooklyn Crouch led the Lady Lions with 12 points. Congratulations to Lady Lions basketball on a great season.
We want to thank you for watching Inside the Pride. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Lion Digital Network channel on YouTube. We also want to encourage you to go to @FHU Lions and make sure that you follow us on every social media platform. And finally, if you're interested in supporting us through Lionbackers or Director Circle, there's an informational video, and there's also a link in the description below. We'd invite you to go check that out. Thanks for tuning in today. Go Lions.